Welcome to Wednesday Night Satsang. Nature and butterflies inspire us to grow and transform in ways that are meaningful to each of us. This Saturday for our Unity Women's event, Jackie Lyles and Nancy Carty will share their love of nature and how gardening and butterflies provide us with spiritual insights. Join us to receive practical information on planting vegetables, creating butterfly gardens, and deepening your spiritual path. Learn about the amazing monarch butterfly transformation and how we can apply this process in our own daily lives. What does it look like for you to live a life of meaning, purpose, and joy? Our Fall 2021 Touchstone Spirit Group series is all about living on purpose. Embark on a journey of discovery with other amazing, loving people who will uplift and affirm you along the way. Our small groups allow you to experience true transformation, insights, and meaningful connections in a safe and sacred space. Sign up in the church lobby after service on Sunday between now and October 3rd, or find your group on our website. In the path of conscious evolution, we seek to rise above tribalistic, dualistic, us versus them thinking, and to live from our oneness of God and each other as our guiding word state. We've all been taught by our culture to distrust the stranger. Unity offers a different teaching. There is no stranger. How can we practice and live this harmonious teaching in a time of division and separation? Join us on Sunday, 11 a.m. The spiritual path includes the dissolution of the self and the discovery of the true self. Our evolution brings this apparent contradiction of our identity and requires our deepest qualities of honesty, courage, and authenticity. Letting go while identifying with the true self will take some practice. Let's start together. Our Making Spirits Bright holiday concert is back on December 4th. In addition to our soloists, Spanish music team, and children, music director David York is holding vocal auditions this Sunday for a special part in the concert. Are you the next star? Email music@unityhouston.org for more information about auditioning after service this Sunday. Has our current collective experience caused you to feel cut off from others? Our lives can appear devoid of meaning when we lose a sense of personal connection to those who care. No matter how much spiritual work we do on our own, we still need community to remind us of our belonging. Together, we awaken and experience healing. Namaste.
Good evening. It's such a beautiful way to begin our service with the sounding of the bowl just at dusk. This beautiful part of the evening, the transition time. I just invite you to breathe in with me this last few parts of the sunny part of the day, so to speak, the light part of the day as we move into the restful darkness. We do it together. We take a deep breath in and we let go, joining in heart, in mind, and spirit as one community spread across the room, across the city, across the country, across the world. We are united by one human life, that whole fabric of life that we share, the love that flows through us from an infinite source, connecting us, healing us, touching us, leading us. This is our time. This is the moment. This is ours. And we receive. And our hearts open in gratitude. And so it is. Amen.
We always get to choose the pace in which we do our healing work. And so this song is a reminder to be gentle with yourself, to take the pace that is just right for you tonight. Let's sing together and remember this truth. I will be gentle with myself. I will be gentle with myself. And I will hold myself like a newborn baby child. I will be gentle with myself. I will be gentle with myself. And I will hold myself like a newborn baby child. And I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me feels safe to go. I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me feels safe to go. I will be tender with my heart. I will be tender with my heart. And I will love myself like a newborn baby child. I will be tender with my heart. I will be tender with my heart. And I will hold my heart like a newborn baby child. And I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me feels safe to go. I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me feels safe to go. I will be easy on myself. I will be easy on myself. And I will love myself like a newborn baby child. I will be easy on myself. I will be easy on myself. And I will love myself like a newborn baby child. And I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me feels safe to go. I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me feels safe to go. Gentle with myself. I am gentle with myself. And I hold myself like a newborn baby child. I am gentle with myself. I am gentle with myself. And I hold myself like a newborn baby child. And I hold myself like a newborn baby child. And I hold myself like a newborn baby child.
In this gentle peace, we move into our mantra chant, Ad Gudena Me. This is a chant for protection, and it surrounds your body with a magnetic field of light. That's the intention as we're singing, and a realization of the source of true wisdom and creation that resides within as we honor that now. Ad Gudena Me, to God Gudena Me, Sad Gudena Me, Siri Gudena Me.
Ad Gudena Me, to God Gudena Me, Sad Gudena Me, Siri Gudena Me. Ad Gudena Me, to God Gudena Me, Sad Gudena Me, Siri Gudena Me. Ad Gudena Me, to God Gudena Me, Sad Gudena Me, Siri Gudena Me. Ad Gudena Me, to God Gudena Me, Sad Gudena Me, Siri Gudena Me.
Let's close our outer eyes as we turn within for this time of meditation. Find a comfortable seated posture that allows you to breathe easily and freely. Feel yourself becoming still and more present. Bringing your attention to the breath, noticing the movement of the breath as you inhale, exhale, taking in a deep, relaxed breath in, and a full, relaxed breath out. Going to engage in a meditation on cultivating a forgiving heart. And so we begin our forgiveness practice by opening your mind to recalling a situation in which you may have caused harm to another person, another being. You may have intentionally hurt someone with your words, with harsh words, or perhaps in a fit of anger, hanging up the phone or slamming a door. You may have unintentionally caused pain in a way you ended a romantic relationship, or by being so occupied with things in your life that you may not have noticed your child's need for special attention. Perhaps you've been causing harm to someone over and over throughout the years. Perhaps through your lack of love or affection, or through flare-ups of temper. Just take a moment to remember the circumstances that highlight how you may have caused harm to another. Get a sense of the feelings of hurt or disappointment, betrayal that that person may have felt in that experience. Now, as you hold that person in your awareness, begin to ask for forgiveness. You can speak their name in your mind and then say, I understand the hurt you have felt, and I ask your forgiveness now. Please forgive me. And with a sincere heart, we'll repeat this request for forgiveness. I understand the hurt you have felt, and I ask your forgiveness now. Please forgive me. I understand the hurt you have felt, and I ask your forgiveness now. Please forgive me. Take a few moments now of silence and let yourself open to the possibility of being forgiven. Allow that forgiveness to be received. And so now bring to mind some aspect of yourself that feels unforgivable. Perhaps you can't forgive yourself for how you've hurt others, for being judgmental or controlling. You might hate yourself for not taking risks that may have made your life more fulfilling, for being cowardly. You might not be able to forgive how you're ruining your life with an addictive behavior. You might feel disgust for your mental obsessions or feelings of jealousy. Sense what feels so bad about your unforgivable behavior, emotion, or way of thinking. How does it make you feel about yourself? How does this prevent you from being happy? Allow yourself to feel the pain that makes you want to push away that addictive, insecure, or judgmental part of yourself. And now be open to exploring what may be driving this behavior that you find unacceptable. When you're judging others, are you feeling fearful yourself? If you've wounded another person, did you act out of hurt or insecurity? Out of the need to feel power or safety? As you become aware of these underlying wants and fears, allow yourself to feel them directly in your body, your heart, your mind. This feeling of this wants and fears is a part of the forgiveness practice and allows you to see what you have been rejecting and offer a sincere message of forgiveness. You can speak these words to yourself. I see how I've caused myself suffering, and I forgive myself now. I see how I have caused myself suffering, and I forgive myself now. Or you might simply offer yourself the words, forgiven, forgiven, forgiven. If you feel you're unable to forgive yourself at this time, then say to yourself, it is my intention to forgive myself when I am able. And your intention to forgive is the seed of forgiveness. And gradually, it will allow you to let go and open your heart. In the same way that each of us has hurt others, we each have been wounded in our relationships. Now bring to mind an experience in which you were deeply disappointed or rejected, abused or betrayed. Without judging yourself, notice if you're still carrying feelings of anger or blame toward the person who hurt you. Have you shut this person out of your heart? As you recall some detail of the situation, you might remember an angry look on a parent's face or harsh words from a friend. Be aware of the feelings that arise, the grief, shame, anger, or fear. With gentleness and with acceptance, feel this as it expresses itself in your body, heart, and mind. And so as you look more closely at this other person and sense this fear or hurt or neediness that may have caused them to behave in a hurtful way, Recognize this being as an imperfect human, vulnerable and real. And feeling this person's presence, mentally whisper their name and offer this message of forgiveness. I feel the pain that has been caused, and to the extent that I am ready, I forgive you now. I feel the pain that has been caused, and to the extent that I am ready, I forgive you now. And if you are unable to offer forgiveness at this time, you can say, I feel the pain that has been caused, and it is my intention to forgive you. And so just remain aware of your feelings, honoring whatever has arisen, recognizing that this is all unfolded in Spirit's presence and love and comfort and protection. That forgiveness is unfolding in its right and perfect way and time in your being. It's noticing your heart, being even more open and tender and willing. We honor this experience as we begin to bring our attention back to the space where we are, noticing the body, feeling our connection with the earth beneath us, feeling the support of the chair beneath you, taking in light into your eyes, little at a time, until you feel yourself fully present in this space now. So it is.
As you gently return now, and as you begin to re-inhabit your body and the place in which you're seated, it begins to feel firm again, and you feel your strength here. Just invite you to know that this is an opportunity for you to practice more of the giving and receiving, more of the exchange of energy that forgiveness is, that life is, that love is. And so as you feel your heart open, as it's been stretched open in this time of reflection, let us gather the energy of love to flow through our hearts now and infill the gift that you have prepared or that you are giving in this moment, will give. However it is that you are giving and text to give and the number that you see on the screen, or giving through the website, however it is right now, just know that as you prepare it, that you are lifting it up in vibration with the love of your heart, breathing into it. And we bless it now together by calling it by its name. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all the good I am and have, all the good I give and receive, and so it is. Amen.
When things go wrong, it's natural natural to wonder, what celestial rule did I break? But things go right, it's logical to ponder, what credit can I take? But the truth is so much easier, I don't need a master plan. I can live here in this moment, 'cause my life is in good hands. I don't need to know where the wind blows, 'cause God knows. I don't need to know what the future holds, 'cause God knows. I need never know how pain ends, how my heart mends. I can just let go, 'cause God knows. But still I find I'm crying out for answers. Guess I'm still craving control. And still I find I'm afraid of taking chances, as if I could damage my soul. But at this moment I remember it comes so clear to me that the moment I surrender, I'm as safe as I can be. I don't need to know where the time goes, 'cause God knows. I don't need to know what the future holds, 'cause God knows. I need never know how pain ends, how my heart bends. I can just let go, 'cause God knows. I need never know how pain ends, how my heart bends. I can just let go. I can just let go. I can just let go, 'cause God knows. God knows. God knows.
So beautiful. Thank you, David. I am larger and better than I thought. I did not think I held so much goodness. These are the words of Walt Whitman. Do you even know how much goodness you hold, that you can hold, that is present within you? I'm going to be sharing tonight about recognizing our basic goodness, the basic truth of ourselves that we can lose sight of. We can lose sight of how much goodness we can hold, can't we? When things get challenging, when things start to fall apart, we forget. In Unity, we have what we call the 5 basic Unity principles. There are many more than 5, but these are the 5 that if anyone asked you what's Unity, you can go to these and talk about that. And the first principle is that God is good and everywhere present. We know this as truth. The second principle is because God is good, and that we are made in the image and likeness of God, that the core of each person is goodness. Each person is inherently good, has inherent divinity as a truth of their being. And there's some scriptural basis for this. If we look to the Hebrew scriptures, in Psalms 82 says, I have said you are gods, gods plural, not with an apostrophe, you are gods. You are all sons of the Most High. We know Jesus said in the Gospel of John, chapter 10, is it not written in your law, I said, you are gods. You are gods. So that's the truth of our being, that we are divine, that we are gods. Why do we keep forgetting? Why do we keep forgetting and have to be reminded? So we're on this path of radical acceptance. We're doing this work of Tara Brach. We're deep into it now as we've been going through the chapters every week. And we began the whole journey with this understanding of the acceptance that we are in this trance of unworthiness. We all have this experience of a trance of unworthiness, this living a less than attitude that we may be carrying around. Some call it victim consciousness, getting caught up in resentment, anger, blame, shame, self-judgment, fear, you name it. Forgetting the love that we are, the goodness that we are. We're living in unforgiveness day after day after day. That open, pure, innocent, loving nature that we are can tend to shut down. Our heart can tend to close down, and we close down to our true nature. We forget. We forget when we get caught up in these ways. Anger, resentment, judgment, blame, telling that story again and again of the hurt we went through. Have you taken some time to remember your basic goodness lately? Just to remember. Check in. One way that Tara Brach recommends is to take out a photo of yourself from when you were a child, or even a baby or a young child, and just take a look at the light that you were as a child. Just take that in. Take that in. I did a memorial recently, and the gentleman who I did his memorial for, the photo that his wife chose for the program was a photo of him in his high school graduation. And he was in his 60s when he passed. And I thought, oh, isn't that interesting that she chose that? And I've had it on my desk. I've been looking at it. And I recognize that you can just feel his goodness and his heart and his love in that photo. And I'm like, oh, I see that kind of young openness that she wanted him to be remembered because it captured his light in that way. And we never lose that light. We can forget it, but we never lose it. We can tap back into it and open back up to it. Now consider what brought you joy as a child. One of the things that brought me joy from when I was very little is performing, singing, big surprise, right? Being in front of people and bringing people joy through something that I did or was a part of. That is something that I've always held on to. It connects me with my heart. And recently, I've just been kind of open to what my heart has been calling me to do. And I used to, before I became a minister years ago, my undergraduate and graduate degrees are in theater. And performing was a big part of my life, was my career. And then I had a call to ministry out of my musical theater, Unity Church, Unity of New York. And I got called to be a minister, and it changed my life in such a beautiful way. I'm so grateful. And so it's been years since I've been in a musical, and this opportunity came up. My husband is a theater director, to be in a musical. And it was just the right part and the right time. And so I think it's important that we listen to our hearts and check in with that. What makes our heart leap? I had a little leap. I said, I want to do that. I want to be a part of that. And so I'm in this musical. I've been rehearsing for a couple weeks, and it's called You're in Town. Yes, Urinetown, not pee. We're talking about pee. If you've ever heard of it. Anybody ever hear of it before? Is it totally new? Okay, it's a musical about this. It's hysterical satire musical. To just tell you a little bit about it. About this town, which it's kind of post-apocalyptic scenario where the water has run so short, the reservoirs are so low, that they have to operate public toilets and people have to pay to use the bathroom. So you can imagine if everybody is holding it all the time, that these people are in a trance of unworthiness, right? This is a group of people who are definitely in fear and despair. They're definitely in a victim story. They're definitely not forgetting who they are, and they're thinking about how they can get enough money to pay to pee. Yes, it's hysterical. It's been really fun for me to do this. This is not the, I wanted to share with you about, a little bit about the story, that there's a character that comes in. So there's these people, right, and they've got to line up and pay to use the bathroom and everything. And this young woman comes in, her name is Hope. So remember that, Hope. And she comes in and she runs into the young gentleman who's the featured character in the show, and she sees him that he's kind of lost his way, right? And so she invites him to follow his heart. And I want to sing just a little bit of it, and I would have invited the young woman who sings this song to come and sing it tonight, but they have rehearsal, and I'm not allowed to take people out of rehearsal, so we're honoring that. But I did want to share this little piece with you. When darkness surrounds you and you lose your way, you have your own compass that turns night to day. And it's even with you before you depart. Be still, hear it beating, it's leading you, follow your heart. Thank you, David. So this little, there's more to it, but that's how it starts, and it awakens something in him, and he lights up, and all of a sudden, he remembers who he is, and he remembers that people can be free. They don't have to be doing this, lining up to go to the bathroom, and he wakes up, he empowers people, and he starts a whole revolution, and it's very fun, madcap, fun story. And I always think in theater, the minister that I was raised up in Unity, at Unity of New York, he always talked about noticing spirit and how spirit speaks to us in the arts, in music, in theater, and poetry. That theater and that spirit is not reserved for the pyramid, the chapel, and the sanctuary. The spirit is speaking to us all throughout different aspects of our lives, and we can really listen. In this show, it just kind of really has spoken to me about hope. Thinking of when hope in you speaks to you. What would hope say to awaken you to remember who you are, to remember to follow your heart? And hope perhaps would say to you that it's time to forgive yourself. It's time to forgive yourself. Going back and doing theater after not doing it for a long time, it's bringing a lot of joy, and it's also brought up some other things, some memories of things that didn't work out, or relationships I thought could have been better, or these kind of things. And so, this is an opportunity now, kind of going back into my past in this way, to forgive that, to let that go. Let it go. What shows up when you go back to do something maybe you love or maybe you don't love, or some relationship, maybe a long-time family relationship or a friendship, that old hurts or resentments and things pop up. It's like, I don't want to feel that. I don't want to deal with that. That we want to be free. We want to have an open heart, a forgiving and loving heart. And the reason for this is that when we do that, when we let these things go, then we can return to our awareness of our basic goodness, our inherent divinity, and that can shine more and more. We won't get stuck in these patterns, these old patterns of thinking. So do you replay a story in your mind of what's wrong with you, what's wrong with other people, holding a judgment, holding a hurt? And do these things cause you to live with a resentful and a tight or a closed-off heart when you go to these places? It's just good to be aware of these kind of stories that creep into our minds and our hearts. How does it tighten us up? How does it close us off? Can we even be willing to forgive? We did that forgiveness practice. This is from Radical Acceptance, the one I led you through in the meditation, to address even just being willing to begin the process of letting go and forgiving. I want to share with you a story of a woman who had a very hard time forgiving herself. In fact, she thought she was unable to be forgiven. And this is a woman who, Tara Brach had heard her story, and she shares it in the book. She was in a hospital, she was dying from AIDS, and a young Catholic priest came to visit her. She had spent the last decade of her life addicted to heroin and not really caring where she got her fix, just as long as she got it. And that was her life for at least a decade. The only person who she ever truly loved was her daughter. And yet, even her love for her daughter didn't stop her from destroying her life. And so this young Catholic priest came in one day to visit her. He was making his rounds at the hospital. He came and sat down in the chair next to her hospital bed. And he saw her, and her body was just emaciated, and there was a yellow tinge showing how her liver had been affected. He sat down and asked her how she was doing, and she said, "I'm lost. I have ruined my life and every life around me. There is no hope for me. I'm going to hell." She lost her hope. She was in despair. So the priest sat for a few moments in silence. And then he looked on the dresser and saw a photo of a beautiful young woman. And he asked her, "Who is that?" And the woman said she's my daughter. And she started to brighten up a bit. Said, "She's the one beautiful thing in my life." And he said to her, "And would you help her if she was in trouble or made a mistake? Would you forgive her? Would you still love her?" The woman said, "Of course I would. I would do anything for her. She will always be precious and beautiful to me. Why do you ask such a question?" And I love his response. He said, "Because I want you to know that God has a picture of you on his dresser." Can you imagine the unconditional love and forgiveness that she felt in that moment? To be held in that way, in that regard. He gave this woman back her goodness and her innocence that she thought was forever lost. We can do this for others. When we forgive others, we're not pushing anyone out of our heart anymore. When we hold unforgiveness, we're beginning to, or we are regularly identifying them with their undesirable behavior. We hold the memory of something they've done, and then that is who they are in our mind, rather than seeing them for who they are now, or really who they truly are, can be. Tara Brach says, without denying anything, we can open our heart and mind wide enough to see the deeper truth of who they are beyond that experience that they had, that behavior that we rejected or pushed away. She tells the story of another woman who was forgiving a person who she thought she was never going to be able to give. This is one of the most challenging forgiveness stories that I've heard. And this is a woman who attended one of Tara Brach's retreats, and she told her about a man who she struggled to forgive because he caused her son to be unable to walk for the rest of his life. She had picked up her son, Brian, from a bar mitzvah class that he was in, and they were hit by a drunk driver, and she sustained some minor injuries with the car flipped, and when the car flipped, her son's legs were crushed. This forgiveness was a very long and painful process. It wasn't just a choice to forgive, it was long, years, and thousands of times this woman sat with the burn of the anger and the resentment and the anguish of the loss of her son's body and the dreams that she had held for him for what he could do with his life. The resentment, the guilt. She felt that there was a hardening of her heart when she held this hatred for him, and she wanted that to be let go of. She didn't want it to take her over the way that it always did. She knew that the only way back to love and to freedom was through forgiveness. And so she became willing. She took on the intention, just the intention, to forgive this man. And so over years, gradually, she allowed these feelings to move through her and to forgive them as they arose in her. And as she forgave these feelings again and again, her heart began to widen to where she could include him in her heart. And so we recognize the basic goodness in all beings when we hold all beings with a forgiving heart, with a willingness to see the truth of who they are, the goodness beyond appearances. And so let us learn and practice seeing each other as we are now and not holding a person to who they once were. I want to close with this from T.S. Eliot. What we know of other people is only our memory of the moments during which we knew them. And they have changed since then. We must also remember that at every meeting, we are meeting a stranger. A stranger. Can we hold that openness for each other, that we don't really know who this person is today, and perhaps they've changed, and perhaps there's an opportunity there for connection, for love, for forgiveness, for healing. Namaste.
Ooh, what a beautiful message this evening, Jeanmarie. Thank you for that. Lots of things are going through my mind. One is, if we ever have to be convinced of the goodness of who we are, really and truly, pictures of us as babies, children, any place where you can do that. Anything, any stage of life, I guess, in younger life, under 10, that you can get a look at, you will see the light in your face and in your eyes, and recognize that that no matter what was going on in your life at that time, that light hasn't dulled, it's not different, it's still here, and it's just... I think here's what I think it is. Because we're on the inside and we're doing all the judging and all the rehashing and all the resentment and all the, whatever that we think we're not good enough, or that why do people do this to me? Why am I a victim of everything that goes on? We're doing all this stuff inside, but on the outside, we look different. We really do. And I think when we remember that we are actually putting out a light even in our brokenheartedness, even in our sadness, even in our not measuring up to our expectations, still others can see what we can't see, right? In the same way the picture shows that really, if we're the ones that have to be reminded, people see that, I think.
Yes, yes. She talked also about watching her son while he was sleeping, and just the innocence of that. And I was thinking, I'm like, what if we could just see that person we hold something against, just watch them sleep? Maybe if we watched each other sleeping, we'd feel a whole lot different about each other, just to see somebody at peace and vulnerable in that way.
Very interesting. Talking about children, I remember when my son was young, what my number one priority was, and actually continues to be, is to teach him to cultivate healthy self-talk. All those, I don't know what the number is, but there's an astonishing number of thoughts we have in a given day, but 95% or more of them are the same thoughts we had as yesterday. It's, some people call it the drift, some people just call it our inner dialogue. But all that goes on all the time. And as children, I think we actually have we adults around our children have a lot of influence on what their self-talk is, by the way we respond to what they generate, and then by what we're saying to them. I'm not so foolish as to believe I bat 1,000 on that, but by living into that awareness, I feel like my son has a chance, in having a healthy, that actually he does believe he's good, his basic goodness. He has a frame of reference for what that is. And then as soon as he was old enough to understand that concept, I made him aware of it. I told him, I said, when you're 35, when you're my age, good heavens, your daily living is going to be completely saturated in your self-talk, all that narrative that's going on in your brain. And to the degree you have control over that, you should be actively engaged in what you are practicing on a daily basis. And that's where prayer and meditation come in, but even just the way we frame our life experience, our circumstances, and then how we choose to interact with that's we're sort of building a foundation.
I know someone who's practicing, really doing some deep healing from a lot of tragedy in her life, and she practices A Course in Miracles and uses the ideals of two ideas that she has really embraced for herself. One is inherent innocence in me and in every person. There is innocence. There, you can think of that primordial beauty, that primordial, perfection is still inhabiting, even though there are other layers of other kinds of thoughts and activities and personality. Still, she wants to zero in on that. And because the second principle is that she always wants to return to peace, that peace is the most important thing for her, not holding on to resentments, that she has found a way to see her, because she claims her own innocence and wants peace for herself, that no matter what has been done, no matter where they are in their life, no matter what they would say, no matter anything, their interpretation, their defenses, nothing, she doesn't ask anything of them. She simply extends forgiveness with the premise that, because of her innocence, she knows there's innocence there, whether she can really see it or not. She just extends to that innocence forgiveness, because she wants to be free. And she has become, I think, like a master at this process. And I offer that to you because it is just so simple. It isn't, I'm not pretending it's easy, but it is very important that we find a way in to letting go for ourselves, that we can let go of it. And then the magic is it changes everything. It actually energetically, the pattern releases that person. And there's hope returned, there's that word again, hope returned to them to be able to do something different, whether they ever know consciously this has happened. Because we hold each other in traction, in unforgiveness, ourselves and them. We drag them around with us. And like you said, just the memory of them, whether it's the reality of them or not anymore, but we really release them truly to be able to do something different. It's true. It is true. Whether you ever see it, whether they ever come back into your life or not. Because why? Because we're connected. We can't just arbitrarily decide we're connected some of the time over some of the stuff. If I see you, I'm connected to you. But no, we're connected. So we're connected energetically. So I just love that. And it gives me such a rightful excuse to keep working on forgiving. Just, that there's no resentment worth holding on to.
Well, and I remember from a previous talk that you've given, Reverend Karen, that state of forgiveness as a stasis is our natural status. And if we can live into that premise, we're having this conversation on this foundation of assumption that I just want to say out loud, and it is that we are good. Because there are lots and lots of churches that are teaching at this very moment that we are born sinners, and that it is only through being saved that we are cleaned of our illness of badness. I'm being pejorative. I'm throwing lots of pejoratives out there on purpose, but I just think that we need to be respectful of that. That it actually is a calibration in the way we view the world. Like, the world is safe and I am good. That is my natural state. And then from that goodness, your point I think is brilliant though about the practice of seeing that other person's innocence and giving them grace. And if you need to go so far as to call it forgiveness, great, do that. But it is just connecting at that level, my good namaste, that the good in me sees the good in you, and in that place we are one. And it's a practice.
That's a good point about embedded theology and how we may be holding forgiveness. And I recognize I didn't really bring up, because Tara Brach gives such a Buddhist perspective, that how often we're told in traditional Christian church that forgiveness only comes from God. Mm-hmm. And in unity, we understand that God doesn't see anything that needs to be forgiven. It's at the human level, at the relative realm, that we're experiencing a need to forgive. And in God, there's no resentment, there's not holding back from you, there's no seeing you in a lower way or anything like that. God is always seeing you in your perfection, in your goodness, in your wholeness, in your innocence. And it's our own hearts that we need to reconcile with.
He's got a picture on his dresser.
Yes.
Well, we're the ones that forget. We're the ones that forget. We're the ones that judge. We're the ones that take umbrage and take hurt and pain. We are the ones who believe something's been taken from us, something has diminished us or hurt us in some way. That's why we're the ones that have to do the forgiving. And therefore, it's our power. It's our power to reconcile. It is a power of human beings. I don't know that animals have to do that, but human beings, oh my gosh, don't we throw up quite a dust storm, around in our lives? And it takes the length of our life to get clean, to clear it up, to finally release. And every time we get freedom, every time we get peace, and it's the reward. So this is the time in our service that we get to remember other people that we want to hold ourselves, perhaps, something in our own lives, something that we see, a condition in the world we would like to see different, people in our lives that we are carrying concerns for, want to be reconciled for. Maybe there's someone that came up in your meditation that you would like to now pray for forgiveness from them, or to be able to forgive them yourself, so you get that freedom. Wherever you are and whatever it is, we'll just invite you now to know that in this sacred field of community, of this evening, here in the sanctuary and across the city and across the country and across the world, we share with everyone who is participating now and consciously, or who will see this service in this moment, will enter into prayer with us. Already you are here with us. And so we know that this field is full of healing, of love, of peace, of power, of holy transformation. Change is possible from one moment to the next. And so as we breathe now, we open our hearts, and we may want to gently speak the name of the person or the condition we wish to surrender into this beautiful space for healing. Breathing in this sweet evening brings us back into this moment, into this room, into this shared time, knowing that we have blessed, we have released, and we have set forth into holy change people, loved ones, ourselves, conditions. They are unfolding, they are moving, they are becoming brighter, better, more vibrant, more whole. And so are we. And we are blessed. And so it is. Amen.
So we join together now in our prayer for the welfare of all beings, in awareness that as we join together every Wednesday night for a satsang, that we do this for the benefit of all beings everywhere. By the power of this practice, may all beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they know the sacred joy that rises in the space beyond suffering. May they rest in equanimity that knows no grasping or hatred. May they experience the equality of all beings. May my practice be of benefit to all.
Namaste, namaste, I bow to you. Namaste, 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 go shine your light into the world. Namaste, namaste. The light in me sees the light in you. Namaste, namaste. Go shine your light into the world. Namaste, namaste.